Well, good morning, folks. Pastor Rocky, hope you're doing great today. 88 days today since the flood came to us in Mitchell County and surrounding areas. And we have been seeing so many great things happen, even though in the midst of disaster. I mean, when you look around, if you drive around, if you're in this area or other areas in other counties, it's just unbelievable what has taken place. And as we think about those things, we think about, well, how's it going to work? How are we going to get it back? How are we going to be restored? Well, we are doing our best to try to help certainly the situations that we are confronted with. In our church family, we're working hard to provide food and groceries and clothes and heaters and generators and propane and all these other things that go with the need to help a family get back together. And of course, in a couple of days, tomorrow being Christmas Eve, and then, of course, Christmas on Wednesday. Wow, it's come quick. How in the world can we understand that September is gone, October is gone, November is gone, now December is gone, and suddenly we find ourselves 88 days later, and still God has been faithful in every single situation. You know, when you think about somebody that's faithful, you think about Joseph that loved Mary so much that he was willing to trust what he knew that God said to him. This is big. This is very big. Because when you think about this for a second, if you just put your mind, especially a guy, one of our guys, our men, when you really think about it from a man's perspective, and you have this engagement for a year, and you find that this person is pregnant, and you really got to think about how are you going to deal with that? Well, the devil's job is to come to us and to get us to think about different stuff. Now, of course, there's only one Virgin Mary. We understand that, but we still face the challenge daily of dealing with things that come into our own lives. Now, I was cleaning out my golf bag the other day, and I put a little video on there about that. It was amazing what all I found in that golf bag. I'm telling you, no wonder it weighed so much. I could hardly pick it up. I mean, it was a strain to get it from the car to the cart to play golf, even when we had a chance to do it. But I found something interesting in my golf bag. And I found this large can of Off. And it says, Deep Woods Off, long-lasting protection. It is against mosquitoes and those sorts of things, gnats and whatever. And I thought about that for a second. I thought about, wow, how could we, as God's people, say to the devil, we are off of your schedule. We're off of what you're trying to do to us. We're off of the challenges that you present. No matter what deep woods, long-lasting protection, we're off from what you're trying to do to us, because Satan is trying to steal, kill, and destroy what God is doing. Now, here in the middle of the morning, I'm sitting talking to you because I believe it's important to encourage, because God has helped us in so many ways. Now, let's just do this for a second. Let's stop and think about all the things, or at least a few things, that God has done that nobody else could do. Now, I'm looking at Joseph here in Matthew chapter 1. And Joseph was told about Mary that she shall bring forth her firstborn son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now, you talk about something hard to do and to deal with from a man's perspective. You know, a man, we're weird, really. But, you know, men are protective over their things being their car or truck or their hunting rifle or their fishing pole or the golf clubs or whatever. And also they get around to being protective over their wife and their kids. But maybe not exactly first, but somewhere down the line. But when that protection mode sets in, they're ready to fight. Men are ready to square up and say, I'm going to fight for what I want and what is right. And Joseph had this situation that he had to make a decision about Mary. I mean, think about how crazy this is, that Mary comes to him and says, hey, I don't know what happened. This is taking place. I'm growing. There's a change in me. But Joseph had a visitor, Gabriel, from God that said to him, this is okay. And what does that mean? Well, the first thing it means is that Joseph walked with the Lord, because otherwise he wouldn't understand the message that came from God. So, obviously, our question is today, are you walking with the Lord? Are you trying to do what God would have you to do? That's big, because tomorrow is Christmas Eve. We have a great service planned. You don't want to miss this one. Tomorrow night, 5:30 at our church. Incredible. It'll be on Facebook, of course. But if you can get to it, you need to be live. It's going to be outstanding. One of the best ever, with my special guest that nobody knows about. It's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great challenge. When you think about that Christmas is just a couple days away, and here we are now making decisions about life and liberty and all that God is doing, we're reminded of how great and wonderful our God is. Yesterday in church, I was at the door for the first time. It was 87 days yesterday. For the first time, I was able to come to the door in 87 days and shake hands with people. I wore a suit twice. Once was a memorial service, a funeral that we had. The second one was yesterday. It was unusual because of all that's been going on. I've been wearing casual clothes so I can run to the kitchen and serve after lunch in our church, and just a lot of stuff going on. There was a guy that came out yesterday. He said, I'm working on the Baptist Disaster Relief Team. I've come up early because I wanted to come to church. I wanted to experience some of the stuff that's been happening here in the area. I will be here to work after you reopen again, and that's going to be on the 28th, I think, right now. It could change, but I don't know. But nonetheless, we are in a situation where we can make a difference. This guy said, I want to be around what is going on. And I thought, wow, how cool is that? But here's a guy that's come. He's come up early. He's taken his own expense, his own, if you will, I guess, dedication, curiosity, whatever it may be. But he comes up to say, I want to see what's going on. God is moving in our neighborhood. And let me say this to you, that God will help you with impossible situations. I mean, how impossible is it to think about Joseph and Mary and the baby Jesus, and they've never been together? And Joseph to trust that and follow through with that and allow Jesus to be birthed without ever knowing his wife. Wow, how good is God? He loves us enough to do the very best. So, just a few days now, a couple days actually, from Christmas, we're going to see opportunities presented to us and challenges that we must face, that we go forward in Jesus' name. And if you do that, God will bless you for it. God bless you. We love you. See you soon.